Welcome back to the show. Once again, it is June, the sun is rising high, kids are going to summer camps, and my dire need for blood and death is at its peak capacity. So get ready for some head chops, screams, naked ladies for the perverts out there. And what better way to start this off than to watch a random ass movie I've never heard of before. That's right, get your backpacks ready as well as your underdeveloped characters and boring plot, because today on Horror Culture, we're watching
Madman. There is no escape.
Madman starts with this cliche scene we've seen 1,000 times before, like in Friday the 13th Part 2, Meatballs, The Burning, and so much more. It's this exposition scene where somebody recalls the legend of a crazed killer who turned out to be real, except in this one, instead of saying it, they sing it.
Drag off their body, a chill in the air, furrows in the ground.
Now it's time for my story.
Yeah, so this whole song wasn't even about the killer of the film. That was just something else.
In the night.
So here's round 2, and this time it's the good one. Basically, it's this legend of a drunk farmer who went insane. He chopped his kids and wife to pieces, and then, as you do, he went to the tavern and got himself a beer.
And ordered himself a beer.
But of course, he got caught, he got hanged in a tree, got an axe to the face, and the next morning he had disappeared. Spooky. But not as much as this man trying to act.
Oh, Max, come on. How could their bodies never be found?
And that was the legend of Madman Mars.
Madman Mars.
And in case you already forgot, he immediately repeats it.
His name is Mars. Madman Mars.
Thanks.
Betsy, what's a Madman Mars?
He literally just spent 5 minutes explaining who Madman Mars is. What, are you stupid?
Sure did that alright.
So the group returns to the camp after this lovely campfire, but Richie over here sees a shadow up in the trees. Can you imagine if that's how modern jump scares were? Might as well explore this thing alone in the woods. The only outcome of this is a positive one, I'm sure. As Richie walks alone in the woods, the old crazy farmer gets back home, lights a candle, and then immediately takes it out. He really has gone mad. Back at the summer camp, a lady talks with our final girl, Betsy, about boys and life. It's a powerful scene, really.
Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop.
And meanwhile, outside, boys are being boys. Excuse me? Okay. What the fuck, guys? Cut to this random guy. I'm guessing he's the chef of the camp? I'm not certain, but what I do know for sure is that he dead. Pretty good. After this gruesome murder, we get to know a bit more about our killer. You know how Jason does his... and Michael Myers does his heavy breathing. Well, Madman Mars also has his catchy sound, an awkward little grunt. And Richie's still walking in the woods. Yeah, anyways, time for a sex scene. That's right, Betsy and this guy TP are hot and steamy. Man-ass alert. So apparently fans of Madman consider this spa scene to be like the classic scene of the movie, even though Betsy and TP just silently, awkwardly stare at each other with a couple of slow fades and a cheesy love ballad. It's riveting, really. What's even funnier, according to Galen Ross, who plays Betsy, she apparently gave advice to the guy playing TP on how to kiss and how to do the scene, and I guess he got pissed at her, so he hid in a sauna for like half an hour.
He wouldn't come out of the sauna.
And then when he finally came back, they never touched each other again, which is why they're just staring and moving around. What a weird fucking scene. Oh, Richie's still walking in the woods. Cut to this lady. I guess she too is walking in the woods alone for some reason. I guess they're all doing that now. But then she falls down like an idiot. And then encourages herself to get up.
Let's go. You can do it. Up. That's it. Go. Yes.
Because that's such a hard task to accomplish, getting up. What the fuck? This movie has very strange scenes, I tell you. Kinda like this next one here. What is this shot? Who are these people? Oh, Richie's still walking around in the woods. At this point, he's been walking around in the woods for so long that TP actually goes looking for him.
Just gonna take a quick look. If I don't find him, I'll be back in a while to get the others.
I guess this is a good time to address the various production problems this film faced. You see, this is supposed to be a summer camp, yet people are wearing winter coats and they look like they're freezing to death. Well, that's because it took longer than expected to get funding for the film. So what should have been a June shoot ended up being a late October to mid-November shoot. Most of these leaves you see here are actually spray painted green. Making movies is fun. So TP's next to get the axe when he gets hung up on the tree. Must be a real pain in the neck. So since TP hasn't come back yet, another random guy goes out looking for him.
I'll find him 1, 2, 3.
This is kind of a trend in the second act of Madman. A character disappears, another one looks for him, repeat. And I know this is common in slasher movies, but usually you'd have like a B-plot or conflict, character drama, something happening. Here it's just like the same scene repeated over and over again.
TP! You out there? TP! Richie! Richie!
And with the power of very sloppy editing, he gets the axe. Yes, the editing in this film is kind of awkward, just like the rest of the movie, actually.
How he makes it happen. Find yourself
Just look at this scene again. It's so confusing. Kinda looks like Madman Mars grabbed his axe and chopped the footage randomly. Hey, wouldn't you know it? This lady is worried that the other guy didn't come back, so she goes out looking for him. Why do I get this familiar feeling? Well, it's been about 50 minutes, and you might start wondering why we still haven't seen the killer in action. The only thing we do get to see are his feet and one hand. And I do mean one single hand. That's cause for the majority of filming, they didn't have the full costume. They didn't have the mask and everything else. Only these fucking rubber feet and one single rubber hand. It's really cheap and pretty disappointing seeing how good the design actually was. Madman Mars looks pretty cool, but I guess they just didn't have the budget or time to show it. As it stands, the monster doesn't look too scary when that's how you shoot his POV. Sounds like an old man who's out of breath. In any case, the lady finally finds the friend she was looking for, or at least parts of him. Let's watch that again. This leads to my personal favorite scene of the film, when the lady gets back to her car, but she can't start it. Naturally, she tries to fix it. We get another fucking rubber hand shot, of course. And then... yeah, every slasher film has a death scene with an axe to the face or a throat slit, but getting decapitated by the hood of a car just after you found the decapitated head of your friend? Banger! Okay, there's not many people left, but there is this random couple I forgot existed. Couldn't tell you who they are, couldn't tell you their names.
Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
But I guess they too were in the woods. So, armed with his trusty single rubber hand once again, the madman grabs the guy, and I guess he breaks his back. Like, what is he doing? The madman then pursues the lady to finish the job, but she's able to get away from him by, I kid you not, hiding in a fridge. She hides in a refrigerator. And it works! But dumb characters in slasher movies will always remain dumb characters in slasher movies, so instead of staying hidden with the half-expired meatloaf, she gets out like a dummy and gets what she deserves. I truly have never seen this before. Escaping a killer by hiding in a refrigerator. I love it. Oh hey, Richie's still walking in the woods. Well, we're now at the finale of Madman, where our officially licensed final girl, Betsy, grabs a gun and goes on a mission to kill Madman Mars.
Madman Mars.
Okay, shut up. So one might expect a bombastic finale with gruesome action, but that's not really what we get. Nope, what ends up happening is Betsy gets impaled on a coat rack and dies. Oh hey, Richie's still walking around, and he is still such a great actor.
Madman Mars.
And then, movie's over. the fuck? Why did you set up this fight between the final girl and the monster if she's just going to instantly get killed and then bam, the film's over? Oh, Madman, the little film that couldn't. Despite the effort and some effective scenes here and there, this was pretty much a bore fest that I don't plan on revisiting ever again. The idea is fun though, a classic spooky legend around a campfire that turns out to be real. And they actually based this one on the Cropsey Killer. We talked about him last year in my review of The Burning, and funny enough, The Burning came out the same year as Madman.
Madman Mars!
That's right, another problem this production faced is that they really wanted this to be an adaptation of the Cropsey legend, but unfortunately the Weinstein brothers were already making a movie about that. That's why both movies have a lot of similarities, except one is actually pretty well made, and the other one is, well, it's Madman. The highlights here in this movie: a girl being decapitated by the hood of a car, a lady hiding in a refrigerator to survive, and it works. And let's not forget the kick-ass theme song of the film. It's pretty good. Otherwise, some of the cinematography here worked pretty well, especially when Madman is kept in the shadows. It's a good visual representation of a spooky legend. Betsy as the final girl though? Big no-no. She sucked, and this is especially disappointing seeing how she was played by Galen Ross, who played in Creepshow and Dawn of the Dead, two great horror movies. But here, she's just fucking boring. I just wish she could have had more toughness and attitude, like she did in Dawn of the Dead. But ultimately, Madman bitch slaps her rifle away, impales her, and that's it, she's dead. This movie kind of doesn't have an ending. It's like the film just ceases. There is no ending. And as for our titular killer, well, what is there to say about him? Unless you got a foot fetish, you're in for a disappointment because we barely see him. And of course, we don't need to see the threat for it to be scary, but here, he isn't scary either. Just a growling imbecile stumbling around using one hand all the time. Not a big fan. I can't say this film quite scratched that itch that I had of watching a summer camp 80s slasher film, but it did have some entertainment value here for me to exploit in a review, I guess. Overall, I'm gonna give Madman 2 cheap rubber hands out of 5, which is more than what they had on set. That's about it for this week's review. Hopefully next time we'll have more shivers and scares as we review a film in which people get mutilated. But until then, go out, enjoy the sun, and keep watching horror movies. It's good for your health. Bye-bye.